Cory, Michael Smith. As Jack and Kaia Gerber. He is Dan Aykroyd. I just said it before, but I kind of have to acknowledge it again. Like, there's a couple of things. Not only are we live in New York City on a Saturday night, about to talk about Saturday night, which in and of itself is kind of rad, but also in a little over 2 hours from now, the 50th season of Saturday Night Live premieres. It kind of, right? 50th season. There's something historic about this night, and I think it's really cool. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting this film. Let's dive in. All of you play real people. And you know, some of them very famous people. And so in terms of finding the role, finding the character, unlocking the performance, what did you do? You know, did you read something? Did you watch something? Did you learn a fun fact about somebody? Like, what was it that unlocked the performance for you? I'll go down the line. Dylan, I'll start with you. I want to say it's the mustache.
The mustache unlocked it for me. Why do you have a little condom on your mic and I don't? You.
Oh, I have. I thought you were looking at his phone. No. No, why I have
Would speak to an audience member like that?
They don't like me.
Yeah, you would. Anyway.
But yeah,
I had that in my head. I did not a lot. We gotta get down the line. I watched some stuff, yeah, I watched some stuff. And
This is fake news.
It's not. It's not.
I think Jason kind of had a similar experience. I'm kind of, shut the fuck up, Dylan. Jason kind of, I've heard down the grapevine, everyone kind of got a similar message of don't over-prepare to some capacity, which is a big gift to get, like, as an actor. I think, especially right now, especially with me, I was, sweating bullets, and you get that message from Jason, right? What a gift. So yeah, kind of starting from a place of, like, don't over-prepare. We got the part, for a reason. So yeah, don't freak out.
But I think then the majority of us did, in fact, over-prepare. Because there's just so much good stuff to watch. Like, I don't know about you guys, but maybe one of my favorite parts about making this movie was prepping for it. Like, what a feast to get to know these people. And for me, like, I didn't know who Gerber was before I auditioned for this. And this was like such an education into someone who has become like an absolute hero for me. For me, like, again, maybe as a Brit, I really didn't want to fuck up the voice. So that was like right at the center of what I was doing in terms of prepping. And she has this wonderful S lisp that, like, the minute you start doing the lisp, like your cheeks come up and the whole thing changes. So that really connected the dots for me. And then I was lucky enough to get to speak to Alan Zweibel, who was one of Gilda's close friends. They wrote Rosanna Dana together. And just witnessing Alan's willingness to share with me his generosity and the way that he spoke about their partnership and how empathetic and loving she was as a partner in person. Like, I learned so much through Alan's deportment and the way he engaged with me. Like, I thought about Alan a lot while I played Gilda.
Cory, what about you for Chevy?
Well, Jason did send us an email saying, do not over-prepare, which I was really confused by. So I was like, that seems wrong. So I reached out to him and I was like, are you fucking with me? Like, that's a joke, right? And he was like, well, I just wrote that because I know you all will over-prepare, and I'm just trying to alleviate the stress of that. And I was like, oh, we're playing mind games from day one. This is fucked! The first thing I did, I shit my pants. I realized the responsibility that we were taking on, and I was like, oh, this could go sideways real quick.
You tell me you pooped your pants.
I did. And then there's just a lot of stuff to watch with Chevy, so I spent a lot of time watching him. Because there's like, I guess he's like an identifiable guy. Everyone knows him, but he's kind of, he's a leading man. So there wasn't something like super strange or really esoteric about him that I could like really latch on to. So it was sort of like navigating what is this like middle path of like finding, going from me to him, and I was really paranoid about it. So I just felt like maybe by osmosis of like watching and then walking around my apartment and falling randomly, that it just happened.
Did you have knee pads?
No. Well, I did in that scene, yes, not in my apartment.
Actually, something they should have done for this as like a little featurette is have a camera in like our places to see the time that we spent alone preparing. That would be really funny. That's all I got.
Kaia, Jacqueline, there's not a ton about her. She is Chevy Chase's first wife. She was like an extra or a background actor on Saturday Night Live for a little bit. But how did you sort of discover her, so to speak?
Yeah, Jacqueline was Chevy's first wife, but Chevy was not Jacqueline's first husband. And really there isn't as much footage out there of Jacqueline as there are of all of these guys. So I kind of was like, what is Jacqueline's role in this story? And it was really, she was there to support her husband. And, they were very much in love. That was very apparent from all the research I did. And meeting Cory, it really just made my job a lot easier because I was just there to support Cory and all of his talent.
Oh my God, we had an amazing time. So when we were that first like tracking shot, when they get out of the elevator and it's this long shot where you meet everybody, I don't know why, but everyone was sort of together all day when shooting that. They're sort of in the same place, offset, and then Kaia and I were put in like a weird corner together for like 10 hours, separate from everyone. So we were sort of just forced to get to know each other and became really fast friends, which was very helpful because for Chevy, like the story that Jason put in here, he gets humiliated in front of the person that he loves the most, and so Kaia and I, it was nice to become really good friends quickly, so that felt somewhat real.
Yeah.
I heard there was.
JK pulls out his.
Yeah, no, but that scene though is a memorable scene in the film, and like if you're Milton Berle, like he did that kind of stuff, kind of exposing himself like that, and it's I think there's humor in the scene, but it's also kind of cringy that like. Men were allowed to do stuff like that. I think the two of you played it really well in finding the balance in that tone.
Yeah, I also, when we were rehearsing that scene, Cory and I were like, I wanted to go stand next to Cory because that was how I felt. And, Jason was so smart and he was like, no, I think he needs to be on his own for this moment. And I really realized in that moment it was like my feelings through today's lens, what I would do versus kind of how it would have played out in 1975.
And what was it like with J.K. Simmons?
JK is amazing.
Yeah.
JK is deeply irreverent and kind of says shocking things out of nowhere. So it really keeps you on your toes. And I don't know if that was just sort of like a method thing with him. I think he's kind of always like that. But JK is also one of these one of my favorite kinds of older actors. Just a guy who has all of these stories and loves sharing them. So he'll just prop himself up in a chair and when I was a kid doing summer stock in 1975, I was doing 12 shows that summer. We were going back to back to back, and he'll just talk. And it's just really great.
Did Jason tell you guys that the only two things he had to SFX in the film was the clocks? he said that when they tested the film, audiences were really attached to making sure that all the clocks in the building were exactly the right time. And the other thing was the color of JK's penis.
To match his face.
It was not his real penis. So, and there was a take. Should I tell that story? There was a take. His performance is so wonderful and phenomenal, and there was a take where they were using a prosthetic penis, and Cory's really in it. I'm sitting there in shock, and JK goes to whip it out, and it fell out of his pants onto the floor, and it was sort of a silicone type.
A
So
foot-long, heavy silicone
it had
penis smacks the
bounced
floor.
and we tried to keep going, but JK was so quick.
Yeah, I was like, this is such a good take. The cameras were on me. You know, I'm like, this is such a good take. Keep going, JK. And then he's like, he pans the camera. He's like, please take a look at my, please move the camera, bring it down to the. Oh, that takes forever.
You know what's crazy? At our premiere, I'm just remembering this moment where it was the first time I was seeing the movie, and I was very excited to see the penis. And then, and I remember there was like a guy's head, like a tall guy in front of me, and his head was like. So I instinctively, like when like JK like drops it out, I literally went. And then I like feel myself doing that, and I just like ease back down, like pretending like it was like a stretch. But like fully genuinely was just trying to see the dong.
You talking about the special features? Here's a special feature right there.
What a treat.
I heard there were no like cast trailers, like that you all kind of hung out together. And you feel that in the film. There's just this camaraderie, there's this like ease of it. Ella, you know, one of the takes that I had when I walked away from this movie, I was like, I kind of just want to keep hanging out with Gilda and Jane and Lorraine. Like the three of them just look like they're in heaven with each other in this film. And I really like that aspect of it. And like, I mean, what did you learn about the three of them and in this moment and just how carefree everybody is when they had such this big task at hand? It was just like chilling.
I just want to give a big shout out to Emily Fenn and Kim Matula.
Woo!
They're so incredible in the film. I think it was really amazing to look at how courageous these three women were. Like, they were in this environment where a lot of the men, Belushi especially, really felt like they shouldn't be there. Like, women didn't have a place in comedy. Like, women couldn't be funny. And they're objectively hilarious. And they're such a unit, but they're a unit against this, like, force of misogyny. But yeah, we had a really good time, the three of us. And also, it was interesting while we were shooting. In the script originally, they felt like separate entities, and by the end of the shoot, we really felt like a trio. And there were so many moments where, like, part of the beauty of the shoot was that a lot of the time we were improvising in the background of the shot. And there were so many moments where it was just the three of us fucking around that ended up getting in there. So yeah, it was a pretty beautiful thing to get to do.
Was there a lot of room for improv? You know, because this script feels like it's so specific, you know, and the blocking and the long shots. I mean, was there a lot of room to play?
I think that improv sort of comes in a couple places. I mean, you know, there's a lot of time when you are on screen and there's nothing scripted. So Jason sort of really expected everyone to show up and have like, really feel like they're living in the space. Everyone that's in the background is sort of operating the cameras and the costume people and the hair and makeup. They all went through a 3-day boot camp to sort of understand how they would function on set and how they move these cameras and operate everything. So it felt really real, and everyone really sort of took ownership of those roles, and it felt like a big company. But then there were other times in the very beginning of the film, when you're seeing the screen tests, which are reproductions of their actual screen tests, the day we shot that, which was one of my favorite days on set, you know, the Not Ready for Primetime Players, we did 2 takes of the screen test, and then in between, Jason was like, he surprised us on the day, said, I want you to stay in character, and everyone else who's sitting watching you in character can ask you whatever question they want. We're filming it, you have to answer the question.
Yeah, like the first line of the film was Rachel improvising to you, Chevy, you're very handsome. How are you so funny?
I'm sorry, what was the first part? But that was kind of fun because everybody, it was you know, we don't all work together. It was the first time we were halfway through the set, or the shoot, and it was the first time that we all got to actually see each other. And it was unbelievable.
Insane.
Everybody like showing up and remaining in, having done all this work to remain in character and answer these questions, and we all got to like kind of fuck with each other and invoke each other, and it was really impressive.
I love the production and the one shots and the chaos. And Dylan, I remember I was talking to you in Toronto because I was amazed that it wasn't shot at 30 Rock. I work at 30 Rock and it looks exactly like 30 Rock, those hallways. Just talk about some of the production and some of those shots. And was it chaotic? Was it just a very organized chaos? Was it fun to work in that environment?
Well, first of all, yeah, I was cracking up that you were like, it wasn't shot at Dirty Rock? Like, I worked there. And I was like, yeah, you would have seen it. Well, we would have kicked you out? Yeah, organized chaos hyper-organized chaos. Like, the shoot wasn't chaotic at all. In fact, there was many days that I came in where I wasn't working just to see what was going on, or I'd get like an update from set, and it was like, everybody outside with like, you know, the eclipse glasses on. And I was like, what's going on? Are they like not shooting right now? Like, or like I'd be coming in and there's like a champagne bottle being popped and like nothing's being shot and they're like, it's the 100th roll. There's cake. Did you get cake? And I'm like, no, when are we doing this game? And they're like, they pushed that to Thursday. Did you get cake? We'll get you cake. We're gonna send you home though. We're not getting your stuff today. And so no, it was pretty relaxed, pretty chill. There was like tequila shots one day. I swear to God, there was like tacos and tequila. There was and little corritos.
One thing was that Jason brought, he got a mariachi band
Yeah.
and had margaritas after rap.
So no, if anything, it was like a party.
Jason was like truly all about celebrating milestones through the process.
Birthdays, big birthday guy.
Yeah, birthdays, the llama, there was a llama party.
He takes the same crew with him on almost all of his films, so they are such a family unit, and I think he really appreciates organized fun.
Yeah, he does.
Matt, what was your perspective? Much of the film, they're chasing Belushi. They're trying to find Belushi. And what I love about your performance in this film is this is a different Belushi that a lot of people don't know, didn't get to see. So, I mean, if you could talk about kind of finding that Belushi, but then also your perspective of the production.
Yeah, absolutely. I do kind of have a slightly different experience than a lot of my cast because I kind of was a little bit more isolated because of the nature of how Jason wrote the character, kind of the arc that him and Gil had kind of planned for him. So it did kind of feel a little appropriate to kind of isolate myself a little bit. We still have plenty of great times and everything. Belushi's super important to me. I started like getting comparisons doing community theater. I think like a critic, I was doing like a funny thing happened on the way to the forum when I was 13. It was like, looking like a young John Belushi. And I kind of put it in my head. Then as a kid, my dad made me watch like Animal House and everything. So it was always kind of like in my bones. At my like, high school homecoming dance, I did like a Blues Brothers routine. I did like 6 songs off of like the album. So I was always like hoping some kind of project would come around because I love his work so much, and then it was such a cool fucking project, to get to do it on. I remember my first Zoom with Jason. I hadn't read the script yet, and I was so excited. I remember kind of being like, I'm so excited that it's this like earlier time is like, so maybe it's not focused on the tail end or anything like that. And I remember him just kind of being like, well. And also in that call, like he was like, so how do you like prepare for something like this? And I was like, well, I'm like a big theater guy, so like the text is really important to me. I remember him kind of being like, huh. Yeah, exactly. I also think I was one of the last people to get the script. Yeah, it was like I just got it like a few weeks before the shoot. I kind of got the script. So it was an interest, like mind games, but like in the best way, in like a really cool, creative, collaborative way. So yeah, we were looking at this different side of the character, and we were kind of looking at this more frustrated, this desire to be taken seriously, to be seen as the, anarchic, power that he was, but like also the serious artist that he was too. So yeah, really investing a lot in that and kind of investing in the vulnerability that comes along with that. It was the most beautiful creative process of my life, and I could talk about it forever, so I'll shut up.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. We're going to wrap up soon, so I want to kind of get at a couple of SNL stuff. I mean, the 50th season debuts tonight, and I mean, just quickly for all of you, who would want to host SNL? Would that be something that after doing this movie, are you like nope, or would you be like, yeah, I'd do it? Anybody?
Absolutely not. I'd love to be a musical guest.
Musical guest.
Yeah, I'd love. That's like my goal, dream one day.
All right, where are you going?
Not done yet.
No.
That's a good rating on Letterboxd.
But also, I mean, doing this film,
It's gonna take.
it's like, I'm out. He's finishing this up, I'm out. But also, 50th year. I mean, you made this film, really special first episode. I mean, why do you think it's endured for 50 years? Like, how is this thing somehow stuck around through all of these casts and, all of this madness? I mean, I don't know. You got a little piece of it on this movie. What did you take away from that?
Jason had mentioned sort of in tribute to Lorne Michaels that, this man has been at the helm, except for a very brief period, has been at the helm of this thing for 50 years, which is pretty remarkable because who's in charge of anything for 50 years? And he has had this incredible ability to find new comedy or young people with a new voice and understand that that could be the future. And SNL has sort of been like a lighthouse for our culture of what comedy is. Some of our most exciting comedic voices come out of that show and have been propelled into big movie careers. And so I think it's born, having done it. And it will be really interesting when he steps down, who takes over and what happens to the show. But it's astonishing that this man has, for half a century, guided comedy in the United States and in the Western world.
Yeah, right on. Good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, I have two requests for you. One, this crew has to go out. They have another event, so if everybody could stay in their seats when we leave, that would be great, so they can get out of the theater. Second request, good grades on Letterboxd. And tell your friends, the movie is Saturday night. I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to thank this crew, Dylan, Kaia, Cory, Ella, Matt. My name's